just wanna stay bad, stay mad, chip on my shoulder cause they treat me like an outcast. I ain't gonna take that, stay back, I'll be swinging hard till the hits come in all caps. I ain't gonna lay back, pray that someone's gonna help me, ain't nobody like that. I ain't gonna wait, that's all fact, give me one shot and I'll never get the throne back. I'm sick of being cautious, I'ma go cause something, can't stop this. I'ma steal everybody's lane, call it shoplift. Yo, what's going on guys, it's your boy The One, and this video is a discussion type video. We're going to be discussing the drama that's going on with people. You know, people are worried about, you know, Street Fighters Duel also getting shut down as Crunchyroll have just recently announced that they're going to be shutting down Princess Connect. So yeah, another content creator, his name's HAYZINK. I like the dude, he's a nice guy. There's no beef whatsoever between us. I just wanted to give my thoughts on his video, as I disagree with some of the points that he made. So yeah, I'll just be giving my opinions. I repeat this, there's no beef whatsoever. The guy's a humble guy. From my interactions with him, he's a cool guy. Like I said, we just disagree on some points. So yeah, before we get into that, make sure to like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. So yeah,
people are basically, how do I put this, doom posting because of what's happened in that game. It's causing people to doom post, get a little bit worried about how it might potentially affect the future of this game, or how it could translate to the future of this game. Now, me personally, I've actually just been through this very recently with another game, the Sky RPG. I was the main content creator for that game. I was one of the only people that stuck around, basically, so by virtue of me continuing to do it, I ended up having the largest following for it. And to be honest, I always thought the game had a bit of a sure footing because in Japan they hit 4-year anniversary. Global wasn't even 2 years old, so naturally, being 2 years behind or a year behind, whatever, I thought, well, we're fine. No, 3-year anniversary, sorry. I thought we're fine, we've got at least another year of content, so if Japan ever shuts down, we're at least going to know a year in advance. And no, it didn't happen because Bolt Trend are awful and they like to close games. So that game, although they've not officially announced it yet, they're doing the whole cycle that these games do where they'll rerun content, not add anything new, not do update posts. So end of service is coming, right? Everyone knows it now because I leaked it. Oh wait, I lost. Awesome. That's what we like to see. Yeah, so that happens. It sucks. It absolutely 100% sucks. And you know, it really kind of dampens people's spirits. However, what I'm going to say is, one game closing doesn't necessarily mean anything at all for the other games that are run by that company, okay?
Now, I disagree with this because I do believe that, number one, I believe that people being worried about the game shutting down is warranted, as, you know, if you know anything about Crunchyroll's track record, they are known to be a company that pump and dumps their games. Like, they've done this with all the games that they release. What they do is, early on when they release a game, they heavily monetize it and push for people to buy packs, and then after a couple of months, after they've milked and, you know, milked as much money as they possibly can, they, you know, slow down the updates, slow down the updates and the content for the game, and then, you know, before you know it, they end up shutting down. And they've repeated this formula with every other game they publish, like just naming some off the top of my head: Attack on Titan Tactics, Master of the Dead, Great Alliance, Ninja Tribes. There's way more games that they've done this. Crunchyroll are consistent with having games shut down with a short lifespan. So as a player
or a customer, I would be concerned about investing my time and money in a game that is short-lived. You know, as Crunchyroll just capitalize off all the big IPs, they just continue to fail over and over again. You know, Crunchyroll just doesn't know how to have longevity in their games. And, you know, currently talking about Street Fighter Duel, you know, everybody, like, think about it, everybody is waiting on Akuma. You see all these other YouTubers making like 25 videos on Akuma, or like everyone's hyped for Akuma. So after they've milked everyone for Akuma, and, you know, maybe a couple of the other fan favorites, you know, they're gonna, it's the same formula. I've seen this happen time after time after time, like with Crunchyroll. After they've milked all the big characters, that's when they're gonna slow down the updates. You know, don't get me wrong, they'll continue to release banners. They'll definitely continue to release banners, but there won't be any, you know, free to play content being added. They'll just continue to add the heavily monetized events. Then, you know, they'll slow it down, and after a couple of months, when they realize that, like, they're not making any more, or they can't milk anymore, then they shut down the game. And that's exactly what they're gonna be. That's exactly what it looks like they're doing with Street Fighter Duel at the moment, as we've all seen. Like, they've even come out and said that all collab banners are gonna be pay to win. That you're gonna have to pay to get the collab character. You know, and all these other events, like, I've gone on rants, like all these other events with, like, the restaurant event, the which other one, the Ken event, to you know, to get him, like, they're all pay to win. There's these events you can't even like, there's some events where you can't even, you know, engage in the event without paying money. You know, like where they're like, in the restaurant event, for example, where they're like, oh, you need this special meat to be able to get Gen, but the only way to get the meat is to pay for it. So then what's the point of the event? You know, yes, there's other rewards, but those rewards are garbage. You know, so yeah, that's my first point where I disagree. So like I said, Crunchyroll, their track record does have a bearing on their other games. Like, if this was like another company like Netmarble or whatever, like, it is what it is. You know, if a game shuts down, the game just shuts down. But with Crunchyroll, it's not the fact that the game's shutting down, it's how the game is closing down, and the way it closes down. And in all of these games, it's the same formula. Rinse and repeat. Throw big banners with big characters, the fan favorites early on in the game, and then, you know, continue to release banner after banner after banner after banner, and then eventually, after a couple of months, they slow down with the updates, and then boom, game shuts down. So yeah, if it's a consistent occurrence. So I do believe that it does have a bearing on Street Fighter's Duel, and it does have a bearing on all the other games that they ever publish.
Don't play gacha games because they're all going to close. There's not many Dokkan battles out there. Like, we know how that game's still going. That game's still going because it's obviously hard carried by the Dragon Ball franchise. The developers have made changes and things that keep players engaged, which is great, but not many can do that. Not many games can pull that off. Right? The only other kind of gacha game that I know that's been running for a really long time, and God knows how it's still going, is Walking Dead Road to Survival. I thought Scopely would have killed that game years ago, and somehow it's still going. I don't know how. I played that game like 5 years ago and it's still going, which blows my mind how that's even possible. But they are very rare. They are very, very rare. They're all going to close. All of them. Street Fighter will close. Whether we get a year, 2 years, 3 years, we've got absolutely no way of knowing that right now.
Now, I do agree with this point here. No gacha game does last forever. And I'm sure no one's going into these games thinking that, like, the games, like, no one's going into Street Fighter Duel expecting for it to last 10 plus years. Now, that is a bit ridiculous. But I do agree with your point here. No gacha game is going to last forever. You know, And if you don't want a game that to last forever, then you should probably just get a console game or something. But yeah, I do agree with this point.
So the best thing that you should do is you should say to yourself, if I spend money in this game, am I going to get enjoyment out of it here and now? If the answer's yes, spend money if that's what you want to do. If the answer's no, you need that money to be long term. Have an account that you can still use in a year's time and you're still benefiting from that money that you spent, then I'm sorry to tell you, it's not going to happen.
So like you said, I agree with this point here. If you're going to spend money on a gacha game, your goal should be to get enjoyment for the here and now. If you're going to spend, and I don't think that you should spend if you're looking to get, like, if I don't agree with spending now to get enjoyment later. That makes no sense to me. So I agree with this point. However, it doesn't take away from the fact that Crunchyroll's practices of how they run their games isn't right. You know, that doesn't change the fact. But I do agree, if you do intend on spending on any gacha game in general, that it should definitely be for the here and now.
What I say to you is, if you feel like you can't trust Crunchyroll, you can't trust A+, you can't trust Bandai Namco, because they do it as well, they close games as soon as they don't hit revenue targets. If you cannot trust these developers or publishers based on either reputation, a gut feeling you've got, whatever, don't spend. That's it. Play the games. Why not? Play the games. Go free to play the games, have fun. Just don't spend.
So I agree with you here, HAYZINK. I do believe the biggest takeaway from this whole situation is that people open their eyes to see how these companies truly are, most notably Crunchyroll, because they are the worst by far with their practices. What I would advise people to do is, you know, I don't encourage chargebacks, but if you feel like you spent way too much than you're comfortable with on these games, you should definitely get your money back and learn your lesson and not do that again, especially on a Crunchyroll game. And I would say going forwards that you guys should be aware that this being a Crunchyroll game, that they may close down the game at any point whatsoever. Once they feel like they've gotten the most amount of money they can possibly get, they will shut the game down. They will shut. If they feel like there's no other avenue that you can possibly make big money on, they will shut down the game. There's no mistaking it. So I do agree here that people should, if they're going to continue to play Street Fighter Duel, like me for instance, I sold off my account, but I'm now currently playing free to play. Obviously with the free to play Chronicles series that I'm doing, I'm still having fun playing free to play. So sorry, I'm dragging this on, but what my main point here is that if you're gonna continue playing Street Fighter Duel, just be cautious and proceed with caution, and don't invest too much money. Obviously, if you've invested whatever you've spent now, like, you're just gonna have to deal with it. But like, if going forwards in the future, just be aware, you know, just be aware of that. Maybe 6 months, 7 months from now, the game may be shutting down. You know, that's all I'm gonna say on this point. But yeah, I 100% agree with you, HAYZINK.
Don't worry about it. Don't start doom posting. Don't start thinking, oh my god, this game closed, so that means this game's going to close as soon as it doesn't make enough money. I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that.
So, like I said earlier in my first point, the worry is warranted, but however, people should be very cautious with how they spend on this game going forwards. Pretty much, those are my big disagreements that I have with HAYZINK's points in his video. Obviously, I do agree with most of his points there. I definitely agree with majority of his points there, but I just wanted to highlight my thoughts on my disagreements with that. So yeah, shout out to HAYZINK. He's a really good content creator. I'll link the video I'll link the original video that I was reacting to in the description. Make sure to check him out. He's a really good dude. Like I said, there's no beef whatsoever. There's no beef whatsoever. I just wanted to share my thoughts on the whole situation. And you know, I may be wrong, but I feel like I feel like I do have a point, you know, and obviously HAYZINK has a point with what he's saying, but you know, it's normal. We're all human. Humans disagree, and sometimes you agree. That's just the way of life. Well, yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, share it with your friends, and don't forget to stay shining.